All right, so recently I finished up Need for Speed Heat, so I've got some gameplay here in the background of me just screwing around, doing some cop chases at night. But yeah, this is the first game in this series that I have played in a long time. Last time was probably when Most Wanted, the second one by Criterion, was new. I was like at the end of the 360. So what, like 2011, 12, 13, something like that. This is always a series. I'll like play a couple entries, then I'll stop for a bit, and then, like I said, I came back technically twice because I initially only played Hot Pursuit 2 and Underground 2, and then I came back because I like Burnout Paradise, and I saw Criterion was making a new Hot Pursuit game, so I had a lot of fun with all of them, but then at that point, after Most Wanted, I had several concerns. Like, they switched around developers, kind of rebooted, and had a movie tie-in, and you're hearing about some of the shitty practices EA was doing with microtransactions and stuff. So I didn't really feel compelled to come back. But that kind of changed recently when I was just kind of browsing the store and noticed that digitally, yikes, took a while, but I finally found the cop. But I noticed that like all of the games since Most Wanted and the reboot and all of that go for like less than $5 and around $5, maybe some a little under, some a little over if you got the deluxe edition. So I just got all of the rebooted games except the initial reboot because I saw that was a always online requirement. So I figured it's probably only a matter of time before that um, becomes like the Crew. And I don't want to get scammed if I don't play the game quick enough. But yeah, overall, I've got to say, I'm not someone who will really put a lot of stock into graphics, but I feel like with racing games and sport games, because they're a little closer connected to real life, it is a little more of a talking point. And like I'm not gonna lie, in this game, like I said, especially since it's been so long, like there are points where I would just kind of get lost just looking at the world around me and just how good it looks sometimes. I will admit it wasn't consistent. Like I felt like there were points with some character models and when they're like zooming in before the start of a race, and then just other miscellaneous moments that, I mean, they look fine, but not quite to that same level. Oh yeah, because I think I'm trying to take out the one cop, and I just keep swinging and missing here. Do I finally? Oh, I was about to say really no there, but when it could look so good at points, it does definitely stand out a little more when it doesn't. Was I the only one too who felt like the character model for the main villain, like the head cop or whatever, looked particularly well detailed? Like that was probably the best looking one in the game, I think. I don't know. I also don't know either. Was this the first game that they brought back rain? Because I felt like it was just constantly on and off raining, and maybe that's why they picked Miami. I kind of imagined Florida would kind of have weather like that. I'm obviously not speaking from experience. It just seemed a little weird and noticeable throughout the game, when pretty much everything's always somewhat wet, and it feels like when it clears up in another couple minutes, that's as long as it'll last. Overall, with the gameplay, I mean, the game feels fine to play. I did feel like some of the power ups you can equip weren't super clear, but besides that, I mean, you have tons of customization. And for this, the last racing game I played was Midnight Club, and this did it right. You didn't have to. Well, there was stuff to unlock, but a majority of stuff was there right away, and it wasn't crazy expensive or anything. Money was plentiful. It was fun to just upgrade your car, and you get faster in that too throughout the game. It is locked behind leveling, but I think they balanced it really well. Man, I just missed that. I afraid if I try this again or if I give up and have a hard time finding the exit. I remember trying to get it out of here wasn't a super clean experience either. The map's fun. There's tons to collect. I was originally sort of like, I wasn't sure if I was in the mood to collect a bunch of shit, but I eventually got into it. I will say the one thing I find really shitty though is that they lock like a treasure map that shows everything behind a $5 paywall. Granted, it just goes on sale for about $1, and I probably would have caved if it went on sale while I was playing, because like I got the whole overall package for a lot cheaper. But it's just a really shitty practice. I mean, I feel like something like that is optimal to just be, a toggleable option, or maybe something you can unlock through clearing the story, or making it so far with collectibles in an area. Like if you're close, it'll appear on the map, but perhaps, if you clear a decent amount, have nothing else left on the map, or have so much overall that you can have an option to display everything. Because I wouldn't have mind fucking around for an extra hour or two trying to get the few collectibles that weren't showing up for me because I didn't drive close enough or whatever. And I don't know. I think that's a net positive for everyone to have players playing the game longer. The general loop of the game was concerning at first, admittedly, because I'm not super good at these games or anything, and there's a big risk versus reward factor. I think I remember that was kind of weird too with the gas stations. You don't really explode if you run over any of the fueling stations. I noticed, but you're so used to it, and even just some of the other miscellaneous stuff, like how you knock over trees and light posts and stuff. And yeah, sometimes that's the case, sometimes it isn't. But I feel like the gas station thing was a bit new. But like I was saying, night is risk versus reward, and I was just concerned that I was going to get like soft block by continuing to get busted, but that's not really the way it works. Like, yeah, you get multipliers, but you still get like a base reward when the night ends, regardless if you get busted or not. So even if you just clear all the major events, you should be pretty good to unlock most things, like 99%. I think it was generally an interesting idea, though, because to have the loop of needing money during the day to upgrade your cars that you would need to race at night to gain experience or reputation, I think is what they called it, to unlock further events that would once again require more powerful cars and stuff. So I wound up enjoying it, and there is some replay value to the different races they have throughout the map. There's a ton of races to participate in at day and night. And I didn't do it, but it looked like when you progress through the story, you can replay events, but now maybe just a higher difficulty is the best way to put it, but everyone will be faster. I accidentally did one, not realizing it was a repeat until I was already doing it. But at the same time, it did feel a bit different. You just got to sort of oh shit. I forgot that they got me with that tire pop or whatever, but oh yeah, I'm definitely not going to get that billboard if I even try. If I remember correctly, I do think I make it. Oh, nope, never mind. I like how I say that right when I don't make it. But yeah, I think that's something people, really into it might enjoy, but I just wasn't into it enough to, do shit I already did. I will say the game was a little shorter than I was expecting, but I feel like it was still a good length. It didn't overstay its welcome or anything. Well, mostly because there's the story mode, which was, yikes. I miss, what was the Most Wanted story that, you want to be the most wanted, so you have to beat the top 10 most wanted and avoid the cops? I mean, it's short, sweet, to the point. It doesn't get in the way of anything, and even with a lot of other games like this, they might have like an introductory deal and then maybe something at the end, maybe even stuff when you're driving to specific missions and that. But this, I felt like sometimes when you're driving to the mission, and they have dialogue. It was going on forever, and there's cutscenes, and I just didn't want this at all, especially considering the story, which just wasn't good in my opinion. It's kind of corny and predictable, and I mean, I don't know, maybe some people would find it good bad, but I'm here to play a game. The only remotely interesting part was there was like one character who was with the cops but kind of working with you, so you're not really sure, what side they're playing or what they're after, their motives and stuff. So not enough to really carry a story, and it's nothing too crazy either. But speaking of the length, I actually even think the map is even shorter than I was expecting either. Like I said, it's not a particular big deal or anything, but I don't know if I'm remembering the older maps being bigger than they actually were, or if I was expecting more quantity over quality. But yeah, Night particularly looks good. I think I saw was the first the reboot that I didn't get exclusively at Night, particularly because of how well they nailed it. Anyway, this definitely did scratch that racing game itch Midnight Club kind of gave me, but I still don't quite know yet if it scratched it enough to where I'm not going to be itching to play another one in a little bit, just because, like I said, I was thinking that this game was just going to wind up being longer or whatever. I don't know if I'll do one of the other reboots or some other game I have when I get to it. Oh yikes, this is embarrassing. I try to ram this cop to see if I can take him down with just one big hit. And I eventually give up because I just keep missing it. It was a lot harder to hit a target off to the side like that at full speed than I was anticipating. So yeah, I'll let you see me embarrass myself once, and I won't put you through watching me do it. I think did I just completely miss that time? I didn't even see the cup car. But I won't put you through watching me do this half a dozen times. It was bad. There, I missed it. Here, one more. I forgot if there was difficulty select in this game too, if that would have affected my experience compared to others for some of the stuff I talked about and whatnot. Oh, I think I hit that instead. Yep. All right, I think you get the point by now. That's pretty much a lot more of hitting stuff or completely passing it out from this point. So yeah, until next time.